Welcome, curious mind, to Hidden Pages. Today we delve into a saga spanning thousands of years, a narrative of extraordinary endurance, unwavering faith, and the enduring human spirit. This is not merely a tale of a nation, but the profound, interconnected story of a people and their unbreakable bond with a land. We will trace the ancient roots of the Jewish people and witness the astonishing rebirth of their sovereign home, the modern state of Israel. Prepare to turn pages filled with triumph and tragedy, exile and return, dream and reality. Chapter 1. Genesis of a People, Ancient Roots and a Sacred Bond. Our story begins in the mists of antiquity, over 3,700 years ago. In a fertile crescent, a nomadic leader named Abraham embarked on a pivotal journey. He was called by a singular god to a specific land, then known as Canaan. This was the genesis, the very beginning of the Jewish people. Here, a unique covenant, a sacred promise, was forged between God and Abraham's descendants. They would be a great nation, and this land would be their eternal inheritance. Through generations, Abraham's family grew into 12 tribes, establishing a presence in this land, which they came to call Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. After a period of slavery in Egypt and a miraculous exodus led by Moses, they received the Torah, their divine law and moral code, at Mount Sinai. This momentous event solidified their identity as a nation bound by faith and law, preparing them for their return to the Promised Land. Once back in Israel, they established kingdoms. The most renowned were those of King David, who founded Jerusalem as their capital, and his son, King Solomon, who built the magnificent First Temple there, the spiritual heart of their nation. For centuries, they cultivated the land, built cities, developed a unique spiritual tradition, and created a rich culture. Their prophets spoke of justice, peace, and monotheism, values that would echo across civilizations. This was a golden age, solidifying their presence and heritage in the land. However, internal divisions and external empires brought challenges. The First Temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, leading to a period of exile. Yet, a remarkable return followed. They rebuilt Jerusalem and, importantly, the Second Temple. This period saw the flourishing of Jewish thought and the solidification of their sacred texts and traditions. Despite foreign rule by empires like the Greeks and then the mighty Romans, the Jewish people maintained a vibrant, distinct presence in their homeland for well over a millennium. Their connection to the land was deeply spiritual, cultural, and political, a bond woven into the very fabric of their being. Chapter 2. The Long Night of Dispersion, Life in the Diaspora. The most devastating chapter of exile began with the Roman Empire. After several revolts against Roman rule, culminating in the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, Common Era, the Romans forcibly dispersed the vast majority of the Jewish population from their homeland. This marked the beginning of the diaspora, a Greek word meaning scattering or dispersion, a period that would last for nearly 2,000 years. Scattered across continents, Jewish communities found themselves in lands vastly different from their own. From the bustling cities of Babylon and Alexandria to the nascent kingdoms of Europe, Ashkenazi Jews, and the vibrant cultures of North Africa and the Middle East, Sephardi Jews, they established new lives. They adapted, learned new languages, and contributed immensely to the societies they inhabited, excelling in areas like scholarship, medicine, trade, and philosophy. Despite their contributions, life in the diaspora was often fraught with immense hardship and persistent persecution. They faced cycles of acceptance followed by discrimination, expulsions, and violence. They were often viewed as outsiders, subjected to legal restrictions, false accusations, and horrific acts of brutality, such as pogroms, violent attacks, in Eastern Europe and the Spanish Inquisition. Yet, through all these trials, they held onto their identity with unwavering determination. How did they survive as a distinct people without a land of their own? The answer lies in their profound commitment to their faith, their traditions, and their shared dream. They built tight-knit communities, centered around synagogues, places of worship and learning. They meticulously preserved their sacred texts, especially the Torah. They continued to study, to pray in Hebrew, their ancient language, and to observe their festivals. Critically, the longing for Zion, Jerusalem, and the land of Israel remained a central theme in their daily prayers, their poetry, and their collective memory. "Next year in Jerusalem" became a timeless refrain, a beacon of hope passed from generation to generation, keeping the ancient bond alive across vast distances and centuries of displacement. Chapter 3: The Stirrings of Return. The Birth of Zionism. As the 19th century drew to a close, a new and powerful movement began to emerge among the Jewish people. After centuries of living as minorities, often vulnerable and without political power, the dream of return began to transform into a concrete political idea: Zionism. This movement argued that the Jewish people, like any other nation, deserved self-determination and a sovereign state in their ancient homeland. This yearning was fueled by several factors: the rise of modern nationalism across Europe, inspiring a desire for national liberation among oppressed peoples, the enduring spiritual connection to Eretz Yisrael, and, tragically, the escalating waves of anti-Semitism, hatred towards Jews, that proved Jewish communities were never truly safe without a land of their own. Horrific pogroms in Russia, for instance, violently underscored this urgent need. A pivotal figure in this movement was Theodor Herzl, an Austrian journalist. Witnessing the rampant anti-Semitism in Europe, he became convinced that the only lasting solution for the Jewish people was a political state of their own. In his 1896 book, The Jewish State, he laid out a vision for such a homeland, galvanizing support and organizing the first Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland, in 1897. This marked the beginning of organized political Zionism. Inspired by this vision, small but determined waves of Jewish immigrants, known as Aliyah, meaning ascent or going up to Zion, began returning to Ottoman-ruled Palestine, the name given to the region at the time. These early pioneers faced immense hardships: a desolate, often swampy or rocky land, disease, and resistance from the existing population. Yet, with incredible dedication, they drained swamps, planted trees, established agricultural settlements like the kibbutzim, and began to revive Hebrew as a spoken language, transforming it from a liturgical tongue into a vibrant, modern language. They were laying the physical and cultural foundations for a future nation. Chapter 4: The Mandate and Rising Tensions. A Land of Competing Aspirations. The 20th century brought dramatic shifts to the region. The First World War saw the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, which had ruled Palestine for centuries. In its wake, Great Britain took control of the territory under a League of Nations mandate. Crucially, in 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, publicly declaring its support for the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. This declaration provided international recognition and hope for the Zionist movement. Under British rule, Jewish immigration increased, especially as persecution in Europe worsened. The Jewish community in Palestine, known as the Yishuv, grew in number and developed its own institutions, political bodies, labor unions, and defense organizations. They continued to build new towns and cities, expanding agriculture and establishing industries. However, the land was not empty. A significant Arab population also lived there, and they too had national aspirations for self-determination. They viewed the increasing Jewish immigration and the Zionist project as a threat to their own future and control over their land. This led to growing tensions, protests, and outbreaks of violence between the Jewish and Arab communities, as both peoples asserted their claims to the same territory. The British found themselves in an increasingly difficult position, caught between the competing national aspirations. They tried various plans to manage the conflict, including proposals for partition, but none succeeded in bringing lasting peace. The global situation was also deteriorating, leading to an even more urgent push for a Jewish homeland. Chapter 5. The Holocaust. The world's darkest hour and the urgent need for a home. As the Second World War engulfed Europe, the Jewish people faced their darkest hour, the Holocaust. Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime in Germany launched a systematic industrial-scale genocide aimed at exterminating all Jews. 6 million Jewish men, women, and children were brutally murdered in concentration camps, gas chambers, and mass shootings. 2 out of every 3 Jews in Europe were annihilated. The sheer scale of this unspeakable atrocity shocked the conscience of the world. It was a catastrophe of unprecedented magnitude that profoundly underscored the absolute necessity for a safe haven, a sovereign state where Jewish people could seek refuge and protect themselves from such unimaginable horrors. The centuries-old dream of a Jewish homeland in Palestine transformed into an immediate, urgent, and globally recognized imperative. Survivors of the Holocaust, many orphaned and traumatized, desperately sought refuge. The international community, reeling from the war and the revelations of the Holocaust, began to more strongly support the creation of a Jewish state. The urgency of the Zionist cause became undeniable on the world stage. Chapter 6. A Nation Reborn. The Declaration of Independence and the War for Survival. With the end of World War II, the British government found the mandate in Palestine untenable and turned the issue over to the newly formed United Nations, UN. In November 1947, after much debate, the UN General Assembly voted to approve a partition plan, dividing Palestine into separate Arab and Jewish states, with Jerusalem as an international city. While the Jewish leadership accepted the plan, the Arab states and Arab leaders in Palestine rejected it, viewing it as an injustice and a betrayal of their rights. Violence immediately escalated throughout the region. On May 14, 1948, as the British mandate officially expired, David Ben-Gurion, the leader of the Jewish community, stood before the nation and solemnly declared the establishment of the State of Israel. The dream, cherished for 2,000 years, had finally become a reality. joyous celebrations erupted among Jewish communities worldwide. However, the very next day, 5 Arab armies from neighboring countries, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, invaded the newly declared State of Israel, marking the beginning of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, also known as Israel's War of Independence. It was a desperate struggle for survival against overwhelming odds. The nascent Israeli military, comprised largely of citizen soldiers, fought fiercely. After months of intense fighting, Israel secured its independence and even expanded its borders beyond the UN partition plan. However, this war also led to the displacement of a large number of Palestinians, creating a lasting refugee issue and a deep, ongoing conflict. Chapter 7: Building a Nation. Challenges, Innovation, and Enduring Spirit. From its very first day, the State of Israel faced immense challenges. It was a nation forged in war, surrounded by hostile neighbors, and tasked with absorbing hundreds of thousands of new immigrants. Survivors of the Holocaust arrived, often with nothing but their lives. Simultaneously, vast numbers of Jewish people from Arab and Muslim lands facing persecution were airlifted to Israel, doubling its population within a few years. This massive aliyah, immigration, posed enormous logistical, economic, and social hurdles. Despite these challenges, the young nation embarked on an ambitious journey of nation-building. Deserts were made to bloom through innovative agricultural techniques. New cities were planned and built. Schools, universities, hospitals, and cultural institutions were rapidly established. Hebrew, once an ancient liturgical language, became the vibrant, everyday language of the nation, a remarkable linguistic revival. Israel quickly developed a democratic political system, reflecting its Western-influenced roots. Over the decades, Israel transformed into a modern, technologically advanced country, often dubbed the startup nation for its innovation in technology and science. It built a strong economy and a powerful military for defense, given the ongoing security challenges. It faced further conflicts and wars with its Arab neighbors, e.g., 1956, 1967, 1973, 1982, each shaping its borders and its national consciousness. The pursuit of peace has been a continuous, complex endeavor. Israel signed peace treaties with Egypt, 1979, and Jordan, 1994. But the conflict with the Palestinians and other Arab states remains a central, unresolved issue, leading to ongoing efforts and challenges in finding a lasting resolution. Chapter 8: Modern Israel, a diverse, dynamic, and resilient home. Today, the State of Israel is a dynamic, complex, and vibrant country. It is a parliamentary democracy, a melting pot of cultures, traditions, and perspectives. Its population is diverse, comprised of Jewish people from virtually every corner of the globe, as well as a significant Arab minority, Muslim, Christian, Druze, and other communities. Modern Israel is a global leader in technology, cybersecurity, agriculture, and medical research. Its cities buzz with activity. Its universities are centers of learning, and its cultural scene thrives with music, art, and literature. It stands as a testament to the resilience, ingenuity, and enduring spirit of a people who, after millennia of dispersion, returned to their ancient homeland and rebuilt their national life. The story of Israel is not static. It is an ever-unfolding saga. It continues to grapple with its history, its regional conflicts, and the complexities of its diverse society, always striving for security, prosperity, and peace. It represents an ancient people's profound connection to their land, a testament to hope against impossible odds, and an ongoing journey of self-determination in a challenging world. It is a story of enduring identity, remarkable achievement, and a continuous search for a secure future. Thank you for turning another page with us, for embarking on this deep journey through history. The story of humanity, in all its complexity, continues to unfold, and understanding it enriches us all. Your own story continues.